Blast from the Past looks like a gentle romantic comedy you can trust. A man raised underground steps into the modern world in a suit and perfect manners, carrying himself with a calm confidence that feels almost out of place in a louder, faster era. Like he's stepping onto another planet, everything around him feels new, unpredictable, and slightly unreal. He's quoting etiquette like scripture, treating simple interactions like formal rituals, ordering a soda like it's fine dining, then walking onto a dance floor with the wide-eyed confidence of someone who has never been told he doesn't belong. The movie stays warm on purpose, almost stubbornly so, like it refuses to turn cruel even when it easily could. It protects its main character instead of exposing him to ridicule. But under the surface, there are quiet details most people never notice. This isn't an ordinary family. They're written with pedigree, like prestige sealed underground and preserved intentionally. Troy isn't just a random best friend either. He moves with a sketch comedy rhythm that subtly shifts the movie's energy every time he appears. And the best part is it might not be over. A second trip back up has been floating around for years, quietly surviving in conversations and interviews. These are 10 weird facts about Blast from the Past, the rom-com that feels effortless because it's actually doing something fragile the entire time, holding a delicate tone together from beginning to end. Number 1. Blast from the Past has a premise that could go wrong almost instantly. A man raised underground with 1960s manners walks into late 90s Los Angeles and falls in love. Cast that wrong and the whole thing tips over immediately. He becomes too goofy to believe, too dim to respect, or too strange for the romance to survive. That is why Hugh Wilson needed Brendan Fraser. Not just because Fraser was likable, but because Adam has to exist in a very narrow balance. Innocent, but not stupid. Polite, but not stiff. Old-fashioned, but still romantic. The movie only works if the audience laughs at the situation without ever giving up on the man at the center of it. You can feel that when you imagine alternatives. Someone like Jim Carrey could absolutely sell the comic innocence, especially in that late 90s period around The Truman Show. But the energy tips too big, too elastic, too self-aware. The premise starts turning into performance instead of reality. Someone like Tom Hanks could sell warmth and decency all day long, and he had the sincerity to make Adam lovable. But the tone shifts there too. Hanks brings gravity, steadiness, a grounded presence that changes the rhythm. The role needed something lighter, younger, something with boyish charm. That is the space Fraser filled perfectly. Encino Man already proved he could play disconnected innocence without losing the audience. George of the Jungle pushed it further. He could be playful, physical, and wide-eyed, while still feeling human instead of ridiculous. You are not watching a joke, you are watching someone you genuinely care about. That is the entire trick of Adam. He cannot look like he is performing the 1960s. He has to feel like he came from there, while still working as a romantic lead in 1999. Fraser never breaks that illusion. He walks out of that bunker with sincerity, politeness, and just enough spark to hold everything together. Without him, Blast from the Past is just an interesting idea. With him, it becomes a real love story. Number 2. Once Adam works, the movie has a second challenge, the bunker. If his parents feel fake, everything collapses. The story stops feeling like a real life and starts feeling like a setup. That kills the romance before it can even begin. So the film makes a smart choice. It casts Christopher Walken and Sissy Spacek. On paper, those roles could have gone broader, more comedic, but the film avoids that. It brings in performers who ground the behavior instead of exaggerating it. Walken plays Calvin as a man who truly believes his fear is rational. Every decision feels controlled, deliberate, never silly. Spacek balances that with warmth, making the bunker feel like a real home. Because they believe it, you believe it. And it goes deeper. These are Academy Award winners. Walken for The Deer Hunter, Spacek for Coal Miner's Daughter. That weight matters. It turns the bunker into something real. Without it, Adam becomes a gimmick. With it, he becomes someone shaped by a real life. Years later, Brendan Fraser wins his own Oscar for The Whale, and suddenly that bunker family looks different in hindsight. Not just quirky, but quietly powerful. Number 3. A premise like this can fail easily in the wrong hands, not because it lacks humor, but because it needs someone who understands how to make strange characters feel lovable. That was Hugh Wilson. He came from character comedy, not glossy romance. He worked on WKRP in Cincinnati and directed Police Academy. His strength was tone control, keeping absurd ideas grounded. He understood the real trick was not the bunker, but stretching a sketch-like idea into a full story without losing heart. He also co-wrote the script, which meant the tone stayed consistent throughout. The same voice guided everything. That unity is why the film holds together. Number 4. The dance scene changes everything. Adam hits the floor confident and smooth, and suddenly the movie lifts. Brendan Fraser wins the moment completely. It works because he wasn't faking it. He already knew how to swing dance. The production refined it, but the skill was real. He looks natural, relaxed, not rehearsed. That authenticity is what makes the scene glow. Even when a double steps in briefly, the charm still belongs to him. Number 5. Troy feels different from a typical rom-com character. He's dry, smooth, detached. He doesn't react like everyone else. He observes, comments, and steals scenes quietly. That comes from Dave Foley's background in The Kids for the Hall. Troy feels like a toned-down version of that sketch comedy energy. Not exaggerated, just refined enough to fit the movie. That is why he stands out so quickly. Number 6. Adam doesn't bring money into the modern world, he brings value. The baseball cards are not just nostalgia, they are a bridge. Sitting untouched since the 1960s, they become valuable collectibles. By the 90s, that culture turned them into serious assets. The movie uses real-world logic here. Those cards are Adam's first currency. Number 7. The title almost ruined everything. The Blast sounds like a thriller. Adam and Eve sounds obvious. The 35-year-old virgin reduces the story to a joke. Blast from the Past works because it feels charming, not cynical. It invites the audience in. Number 8. The cherry Coke detail is subtle but smart. It refers to the old soda fountain version, not the packaged drink. That choice keeps the period feeling authentic. It shows how carefully the movie builds its world. Number 9. The film had to balance innocence with a more adult modern world. That tension shows in scenes like the adult bookstore, where content was carefully controlled to protect tone. The movie constantly trims itself to stay gentle. Number 10. The film didn't flop loudly, it just underperformed quietly. With a budget around $35 million and earnings just above that, it landed in a forgettable middle ground, but that allowed it to become a hidden gem over time. Bonus fact: fans still want a sequel. Alicia Silverstone has expressed interest. The idea keeps returning, and that fits the movie perfectly. Something preserved, waiting to come back at the right time.